Aloha. Today we're going to be working a little bit more deeply with the heart, both as a space of awareness, but also as a chakra and even as a place that you're more familiar with than you realize. So if you haven't already, take this first moment or two to establish your seat. Feel those sit bones connecting down, the spine growing up. Can relax your shoulders a little bit. Feel that connection of the movement of the shoulders to the spine itself. I'll begin today with this quote from Shambhavananda. This is from his book, Spiritual Practice. He says, "During the day, when we find ourselves getting too caught up in something, we can take a breath into our hearts and we can ask to surrender all the spinning in our brains. We find the heart chakra and the navel chakra. And then as we exhale, we genuinely surrender the tension of the moment." So just looking at that quote in pieces, when we get too caught up in something, and that's always happening, isn't it? I mean, it's always happening. It's like there's a tendency to get caught up the more that, we focus externally. When you notice that, it's really a gift. It's like grace. And we have to use that moment not to be like, oh, I wish I wasn't so caught up in this, or I should be doing my practice. But we have to use that brief moment of awareness that we're given in the midst of that activity. We have to do something that's a little bit different. And he's describing it here. We have to take that breath into our hearts and ask to surrender this experience of being caught up in and spinning around in something. And so you have to make that connection. And as Swami Rujananda always taught, you have to ask very deeply to surrender what it is that's pulling you out. He says we find this connection. He says, and then as we exhale, we genuinely surrender the tension of the moment. This is a really unique feeling for each of us. I know that whatever my experience is of this moment that he's talking about, your experience is subtly different. It's like colored differently, it's flavored differently, but it's something, and it really is something. When you're in that moment, you start to be able to recognize not only the spinning sensation, oh my gosh, I'm really caught up in this, but you start to also be able to recognize the working with that moment. Like when you try enough times, you can feel like, okay, I'm doing it. And it's usually a feeling a little bit of discomfort that is telling you that you're actually doing it. Similar in our yoga practice, I wouldn't call it discomfort, but nonetheless, you can feel when you're working with tightness in your body, and you start to have almost like a feeling for it, a taste for it, where you go, okay, now I know I'm working. So it's very similar. And so this is something we have to be reaching for and touching base with throughout our day. And to do that, you need that place inside established through your practice, which is what we're going to do right now together. So we're going to really reach in and try and create that pathway to the heart, and that pathway to the heart, as well as our asking that he talks about, establishing that connection as well, so that when you are in the midst of your day and it's swirling, you'll have a path. You'll have a recently well-worn path to this place we're going. So, any last adjustments to your seat? You can just make some movements, circular movements with the sacrum around the base Let that sort of wobble up through the ribs and shoulders and neck. First finger and thumb come together, either palms down or palms up. You can allow the eyes to close, or you can softly gaze at your shrine. Always nice to start with a slight smile, even if it feels sort of like wax lips sometimes, it still points you in the right direction. And begin to slow the breath down just a little bit through the nose. And as you slow the breath down, feel the path of the breath. Feel the entry, the coolness in the nostrils, the sinuses, the throat. Feel that slight swelling of the chest, that little bit of a lift of the ribs in the chest, maybe even the navel. You don't have to force any of this, but just try to notice the subtlety of these sensations that occur. Again, you can always revisit that slight smile here as you're feeling this slightly lengthened breath. And the two together can help you start to feel that area of the heart, just sort of a general area. You can swallow, and that'll allow the breath to move even more freely towards the heart. And you can begin to bring your mantra silently to the breath. Om Namah Shivaya to the inhale, and Om Namah Shivaya to the exhale. And let the mantra help your awareness travel with the breath towards the heart. And try to visualize this path of the breath through the nose, up over the third eye, down the throat, to the chest. And as you exhale, try to leave your focus in the heart. The breath leaves, but your focus remains in. And then the next breath pulls a little bit more of your awareness in through the nose, down the throat, to the heart. And with each exhale, you let yourself just sink into that space. Occasionally swallowing, and allow the mantra to focus even more of your awareness on this simple process of bringing our breath down to the heart. The mantra with the breath. And as you continue with this simple process, try to feel asking, that asking the heart to open, the asking to bring this attention into the heart. As Babaji says, asking to surrender all the spinning in our brains. So as you repeat that mantra, Om Namah Shivaya, repeat it and feel that deep need inside, the need to use this practice right now to create this pathway. Om Namah Shivaya. Feel the breath to the heart. You know, there are weeds blocking your path. There are branches in the way. You really got to ask inside. You really got to want this thing, this path to the heart. And swallow again and breathe. Try to feel that space that you're creating in the heart. It's not limited to the physical space of your body. It's a space that transcends the physical plane and can expand endlessly with each breath. Try to feel that expansion little by little with your mantra and with your wish. Try to feel this space of the heart opening in all directions, expanding not just in front of you, but to the sides and behind, and feel the space from the center of you expanding out as you bring your attention to your center. As you bring your breath to this one point, it naturally expands. You don't have to breathe extra deep, but you just have to feel the breath you're taking. You can even visualize the expansion inside, like blowing a balloon up, except this balloon expands as you inhale. And if you exhale slowly and consciously, it does not deflate, but allows you to expand it just a little bit more with your next inhale. Continue to allow that deep wish to cultivate. Feel it in each breath. This deep wish to grow that is at the heart of your practice. It's in your mantra, it's in your breath, it's in your visualization. It's a sincerity that you bring to each moment, asking for a little bit more. We can take the last 2 minutes to bring the hands to the heart, with a little bit of space between the palms, and that slight smile again. And notice how the path is pretty clear. You can bring your hands to the heart and breathe right to that point. And just take the next minute to gently breathe into this space and imagine a small flower bud in the heart blossoming open a little bit with each breath. We'll just keep the hands there at the heart as the fingertips slowly part with each breath. And let that space of the heart open, let the smile sort of open. And just feel the nectar there at the base of this flower that you've cultivated through your practice. And we can store that nectar energetically by just inhaling into the heart. As you exhale, visualize that nectar flowing up vertically from the crown of the head. And that way, this energy will be there when you need it. You can allow the hands to close and just feel again that connection. And so, throughout your day, when you notice yourself getting pulled into something, the spinning of your brain, you can take a breath and this path will be there. You can make this connection, establish it, and then you can go back into your life and keep that heart connection as you continue to work through your karma. And as Babaji said at the end of this quote that's not on the text, at first your family or friends might wonder, what is she doing? And eventually you get that you're able to do this, he says, on the run. And it helps you establish a more and more energetic experience of your life and get more and more skillful as you go. So have a great rest of your day. Thank you for meditating with us. Namaste.